Hey guys, I am cmasupra and welcome to another Company of Heroes video. So just like the last one, where I freaked out at the end because I didn't know how to deal with the King Tiger, I'm going to freak out again at this one, and once again I will barely win this one because I figure out how to counter the thing I freaked out about. I guess I can go ahead and tell you in this case it's not the King Tiger because I'm playing against the Panzer Elite. You could guess it's the Yogg Panther, but that's not it either. It's the Panzer IV IST. Believe it or not, I actually freaked out about how to counter that because I had very little AT on the field at the end of this episode. And you'll see why, especially here at the beginning, because, well, let's just say you will see why. It's not because I forgot the AT, it is literally because I could not get the AT. So, let's go ahead and get started with the what's going on part. So, my opponent's Kittencrod is capturing the munitions point that's closest to me, and that's a really common spot for the Brits to set their HQ on because it's really central in this map. So he's trying to capture it from me so that I can't sit my HQ on it, and I almost kill his Kettencrod here. I'm so disappointed I didn't. If I didn't, or if I did kill his Kettencrod, this match would have been so much easier. It would have been a 10-minute match, but nope. I wasn't able to kill his Kettencrod, so that really sucked. And he got the point at the same time, so it's like double suck. I guess if we want to add on to the suck, let's make a triple suck. He has a Panzer Grenadier squad times 2 in the house fighting my recon section, and the reason I'm even fighting there is because I want to try and get this munitions point back. I'm hoping to be able to get it, but I'm actually not able to get it, so I think, where do I want to set down my HQ? Let's go with the only fuel point I have, which is the only resource point I have. I don't have any munitions points. I have one low fuel point and one strategic point. I am not doing very well at the beginning of the game here. And this is why I couldn't really get in the AT by the end of the game to counter his Panzer IV IST. So, my HQ is sitting down on the low fuel point. I'm only getting +8 from it, rather than if I had set it on a high fuel point, it would have been getting +24, I believe. It goes from +16 to +24, so you get 8 extra per minute. Whereas if you set it down on a low fuel point, you only get +3 extra per minute, because it goes from 5 to 8. So it's usually not worth setting it down on low points. But in this case, that's all I had. Literally all I had. I have one strategic point, which is my spawn, and then I have a low fuel point, and I don't want to just leave it in my base because then I don't get any real bonus from it. So I might as well move it to the low fuel point. It's all I have. So while I was explaining all of that, my opponent took over most of the map. I am pretty sure that while all this is happening, all the fighting that you've been seeing, my opponent's Kettencrod has been going around the map behind his lines, capturing all the points. He's getting resources. I'm not getting much of anything. So I'm falling way behind here at the beginning. I'm doing terribly in terms of map control, and kind of sort of playing terribly. I was not playing that well that day when I recorded this, but I was playing decently enough, so I thought I could show the video. If I play absolutely terribly, I might make a joke video, but I won't make a serious video if I play terribly. That's something I would never do. So yay, third infantry section. So I have 3 infantry sections, which in reality may or may not be enough to counter his Panzer Grenadiers. I have no idea. All I know is his Panzer Grenadiers are not on the right side of the map, so I'm going to the right side of the map and capturing points. I just captured a strategic point. I'm capturing a munitions point, which is a +10 point. So that'll be my very first munitions point in this game, because I couldn't get the one next to my, or the high one next to my base, which is what I always want in this map. It was a good move by my opponent to take that munitions point, the high one that I was talking about at the beginning of the game, because like I said, it's a very common point for Brits to set their HQ on. So he has both of the munitions points, so he's getting both of the high munitions points, so he's getting lots of munitions, and that's really bad. One of them's actually a +10 only. I don't know which one it is. I believe it's the one on the right. I'm not really sure about that, but let's go ahead and go back to the game. So there was just a battle, or 2 battles, and I won them both. So now I can cut him off because I'm not going to be able to capture points fast enough with my 3 squads to where I'll be able to get more resources than him, so instead I have to cut him off and prevent him from getting resources. So he's getting 0 income, just like I'm getting 0 income, almost. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Then we'll just be infantry versus infantry with no upgrades, and it'll be like the beginning of the game, the whole match, with just infantry, no upgrades, because we have no munitions and no fuel. So that's what I'm trying to do, and it turns out to work quite well. I've completely cut him off from the right side of the map. I have the strategic point next to his base. I have the middle strategic point now. All that's left is the left side of the map, and that's what I'm going to capture next. And I actually managed to get enough fuel for the field support truck. So, like I said, next I'm going for the strategic point on the left, this one right here on your screen. And the reason for that is I'm sure my opponent is getting fuel from the leftmost fuel, the one that's off the screen to the left. And I don't want him getting that fuel. I don't want him getting any fuel if I can help it. So I was going to decap it, but then there was a fight, and you never want to capture a point in the middle of a fight unless you're guaranteed to win by a large margin, because you always want to make sure you can win a fight, and then you take the point. So in this case, that's what I did. He now has a mortar half-track, which was in his base, and it's shelling my infantry. It's as if he knew they were there and saw them before I saw him. And for all I know, he is map hacking, and he did. I really have no idea if he's map hacking. I'm not going to accuse him of it, though. I don't think he is. If he was, he probably wouldn't be losing this badly now, because I managed to push him completely off the map by cutting him off, and fighting. And then after he was cut off, when he had no resource income, really, I'm attacking him. And, oh, I just lost a full infantry section right there to a mortar. That sucked. You can see he's desperately trying to get resources back. You can see the Kettenkrad on the mini-map is trying to capture the leftmost strategic point because he wants that fuel at the very left of the map. And I am doing my best to make sure he can't get that strategic point. I'm going to send this infantry section over there. I just had to first fend off a whole bunch of Panzer Grenadiers at his cutoff point. But now that that's over, I'm going over to the left to make sure his Kettenkrad dies. Now, there is something to mention with the Kettenkrad and trying to chase it as Brits. You're never going to catch it. I mean, even with a lieutenant, if you're moving at full speed, it still moves faster than you, so you might as well not try to chase it and instead just try to minimize the amount of damage it does by, I don't know, spreading out your units, I guess. Yeah, I don't really know any better way to do that except spread out your units so the Kettenkrad can't go around the map capping you, or capping your territory while you can't do anything about it, because by the time you get to where he's capping, he will be gone, because he will already have finished capping the point, and you move so slowly. So, there was something I wanted to mention, but I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, he went, what's that doctrine called? Scorched Earth, which is the leftmost doctrine for Panzer Elite. It's not used very often, but when it is used, it's quite effective. It really should be used more, even by myself, but I never use it, really. The main use for that is to booby-trap a point that you own. If I'm Panzer Elite and I own it, I can booby-trap a point, and then when the opponent goes to capture it, it will explode on them, and it'll kill whatever unit was trying to capture the point. I mean, it'll at least damage the unit, it won't necessarily kill them. And you can trap them for free. You can trap them with Panzer Grenadiers or your Kettenkrad, or both. The Panzer Grenadier traps do a little more damage because they explode multiple times, rather than just the one time that a Kettenkrad does, or Kettenkrad trap explodes. And because it's free, it doesn't cost anything to plant the explosive or plant the trap. I have to spend manpower reinforcing my squads as I lose things to the traps, but you only have to spend time. I guess I spend time and manpower, you only spend time. So it's pretty good as a doctrine. It just doesn't give you any extra anti-infantry or extra anti-tank, which is what Luftwaffe and Tank Hunter do. Now the way to avoid hitting the traps if you're not the Panzer Elite player is to trigger the trap by capturing the point, and then go to the other side of the point and you can dodge the trap because it'll explode on the side that you originally were on at the point. So if I'm on the right side of the point as I am on, well, that's not on the screen anymore, but if I'm on the right side of the point and I start capturing it and the trap is triggered, I move to the left side and then start capturing the point again. Eventually the trap will explode on the right side because that's where I originally was capturing the point. And then all is dandy. It's like the trap did nothing except take my attention away for a few seconds. So the trap is free. It's not guaranteed to do damage, but it's really good. And it's quite interesting that he is using it this game because it's unusual to see it. So I'm happy he did that. While I was explaining all of that, there was a lot of gameplay going on actually. I think I took a while to explain that. I now have the left side of the map. I no longer have him cut off from the right side of the map because he was able to push me off with his mortar. And I now have rifle grenades, which are really useful to shoot over hedges. I have a Stuart now, which is really nice. That means I'm actually getting some fuel now. So if he has light vehicles, such as the mortar half-track, wow, burping. So if he has light vehicles such as the mortar half-track, I can go kill him with my Stuart. The downside is he was expecting it, so my Stuart is practically useless now, at least on the right side, because you can see he has 2 Panzerschreck squads. So I'm like, okay, you have Panzerschrecks on the right, I am going to go to the left side. And let's see what's over here, another Panzerschreck squad. Okay, that's 3 Panzerschreck squads I've seen so far. 2 on the right, 1 on the left, and I see a Kettenkrad next to my strategic point on the left, so let's send the Stuart over there. Make sure you can't get that. And he sees the Stuart coming, so he moves his Kettenkrad away, and it's no longer at the point. Now that mortar is doing a ton of damage to me. That's really why I wanted the Stuart, was to kill the mortar. But he has so many Panzerschreck squads that I can't do anything about it. I will say that's quite effective at preventing me from using my Stuart, but he also kind of overcompensated for my Stuart. So sure, I have a Stuart now, but at the same time, you have 3 Panzerschreck squads. That's 3 squads that only have 2/3 of their anti-infantry damage output, because there's 3 men per squad, and one of them has a Panzerschreck, so he is essentially not anti-infantry anymore. And that means, if I go infantry heavy, I can just kill your squads, because I'll win the fights. I have more anti-infantry capability than he does now. So I'm pushing him back and winning the fights, and his Panzerschrecks are appearing quite useless because of the simple fact that my Stuart cannot be found, as far as he can tell, and he has nothing for his Panzerschrecks to shoot at. So even though he did push me off the right side, I have now pushed him back off the right side. He still has the map control on the right side, I have the map control on the left side, and well, I guess I just need to go capture his points on the right side and then we'll be good to go, except he wants his strategic point on the left back. So I tell my infantry, okay, go over there and disrupt him, make sure he doesn't get that, we don't want him getting that fuel. Which I did actually finally capture that left fuel point, but I still want to make sure he can't do much. I want to make sure he can't get much in terms of map control, and then I'll have more resources, and I will most likely win if I play better than him as well. So he managed to get the left strategic point back, but it's useless to him now because it's not connecting anything, so it's not too bad for him to have it, and it really does nothing except give him an extra 3 manpower income per minute, which isn't much, but it's not really noticeable either, I wouldn't say. My infantry are getting owned. Yeah, I should have retreated them far earlier than I did. Maybe I hit the T key and they didn't retreat. I do remember the day I recorded this video. I had one game where my squads just wouldn't retreat very much. Like, they would not want to retreat. I'd hit the T key, I'd click on the actual retreat icon on the bottom right and the user interface, they just wouldn't retreat. So that really sucked, that game. But luckily I haven't had that happen in years. that one game happened like whenever I recorded this video you're watching, but since I started Company of Heroes, which was in 2006, I have never had that happen, so it's only happened once, and that's a very good thing. Let's go back to this game. I think that would be the smart thing to do rather than talking about past games, which you're not watching at all, because they're not on the screen and I don't have videos of them. I just built a casualty clearing station, and the reason for that was I wanted to heal my infantry. It was not for the medics, even I actually forgot that they had medics in this game. When I was playing this game, I forgot the Brits get medics with their casualty clearing center, and that was just an extra bonus. I just wanted to heal my infantry, really. So, now what's going on, I guess? Mortars firing at me. Not really much to talk about. He has an AT half-track, which is not good for my Stuart, as you are about to see. Maybe? Maybe not? Maybe? Maybe not, I can't remember. I feel like my Stuart actually did get detracked over there, but it's not getting detracked. Or maybe now it just did. Yeah, there we go. Destroyed engine and immobilized. There we go, okay. So yeah, he has an AT half-track, and that's really bad for me because it can kill my Stuart if he's at long enough range. His range is slightly more than the Stuart's. It's like an extra foot extra. It's not easy for him to outrange me, but it is very possible. And then I send commandos out. I decided to go commando doctrine just because it's the one I'm best with. I didn't go the engineer's doctrine. I really don't. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. And the reason for that is because I needed commandos to kill his infantry, and if I killed his infantry, his vehicles would be useless, and he wouldn't have much in terms of income. Commandos can also kill his light vehicles. So, really the only thing they can't kill is a Panzer IV IST. They can even kill a Martyr, I guess. That's true. Yeah, so just a Panzer IV IST. So they're pretty useful. If I had expected a Panzer IV IST, I would not have gone with commandos, but I was not expecting one yet. I was expecting him to be putting a lot of focus on infantry and light vehicles, because that's mainly what PE is about. And against Brits, that's normally what they do. So, despite my bad playing earlier in the game, and having only a single fuel point, it was a low fuel point, I now have pretty much the whole left side of the map. He is decapping it from me as this battle is going on in the middle. But I pretty much have most of the left side, and I am trying to get him away from the right side, and that way I can get more resources and win. And it's working quite well, actually. Sadly, his mortar is doing a lot, and hey, a trap was triggered. Move to the other side of the point, and then start capping again. There we go. Perfect example of how to dodge the explosion from a trapped point. So he managed to capture the leftmost field point on the map, and he's capturing the strategic point on the left. I decided to send in commandos to take care of the Kettenkrad, and then I apparently sent another squad to go over there and take care of the Kettenkrad. I really didn't want him to get that point, but then he does get the point, and ooh, Kettenkrad's trapped. Commandos on the right side, infantry section on the left side. Is it gonna die? Yes, of course it will. There we go. But we didn't actually capture the point, or else he did and I decapped it. I don't remember. The leftmost fuel point, that is. But anyways, he's not getting fuel from that now. I'm also capturing, or I'm not capturing actually, the strategic point next to his base. I'm not capturing it. I should be capturing it. There we go. Capture it now. Sadly, I am being fired on with the mortar. He's booby-trapped it, moved to the other side. It makes a bit of delay for me, and here's a Panzer IV IST, and I'm like, oh gosh, what do I do against this? I haven't had time to get AT. I just got started. I have half the map. Let's get some Piats. Let's build a 17-pounder as soon as I have the manpower. Stuart, you're gonna have to make sure that it can't do much. I just got the manpower for AT gun. Let's place it. Stuart, you're going to be the target for the IST. I know you are, so let's take you to the left and make sure he doesn't see me building the AT gun. Because if he sees me building the AT gun, he's going to kill that first. So let's go left, and let's flank him, go around behind him, make him draw his Panzer IV backwards closer to his base by sending my infantry around to the left behind him, sending my steward around to the left behind him, make him think my whole force is there or something. And in the meantime, I have my 50-pounder building, and it's done. Why is he not going for my distraction? It's not going for my distraction. This is not good. Luckily, I was able to finish building my 50-pounder. My Piats are done, but they're dying at the same time. And I lost a Piat. It got dropped. But my squad is overall alive. But now that I'm behind him here next to his base, I'm like, okay, let's just take this point, cut him off from resources. Hopefully we can prevent another one of these from showing up at some point. I have nothing to kill this Panzer IV IST with, so let's reinforce our infantry. What should we do? What should we do? I guess capture the other victory point that I don't have. I'm sending commandos to go capture it. I have a steward still, and that's very key. My field support truck is going to die. I decided to tell it to move, but it's going to die before it gets to move. Now I have my steward, and I have it behind the Panzer IV IST. I'm trying to attract the Panzer IV, because if I can attract it, he will stop killing my infantry, basically. And that'll be really helpful, because if I'm losing infantry, that's not a good thing. So I almost have all 3 victory points. I have cut him off from resources. He has very few, just the 2 that are connected to his base, the fuel point and the munitions point. And he has a lot of Panzerschreck infantry, while I have a lot of anti-infantry. So he has a lot of anti-vehicle stuff, so I know vehicles are not the answer to go kill this Panzer IV IST. I need to use infantry to do it. So I have my Piats, which are firing. They're about to die. Yep, they just died. Luckily, there's a Panzerschreck on the ground and a Piat on the ground. Do I pick them up? I don't know if I do. I don't think I noticed them, actually. I was trying to detonate a bomb under the Panzer IV IST because I had nothing to counter this thing with, so I sent my commandos next to the Panzer IV, told them to place a bomb on it, and then I would click the detonate button and kill it. Unlucky for me, or unluckily for me, to use correct grammar, they died trying to do that. But then I have my steward, and I'm like, okay, this thing is locked down, destroy an engine, hit it from the back, and you can kill it, because the Panzer IV can actually be penetrated by the steward, and it lost its main gun, the Panzer IV that is, and then my opponent quit. He said, screw this OP stuff. He didn't actually say that last word. So I don't know what he was talking about, being OP. I actually asked him after the game, and he didn't respond, so I have no idea what he was talking about. I did nothing OP, I just outflanked him. He got overconfident with his Panzer IV, which really, I can't really blame him for that. I had nothing to counter it. But at the same time, he thought it would counter everything, and he overcompensated for my Stuart and my HQ trucks, because he had a ton of Panzerschrecks, and that lowers his anti-infantry, and the Panzer IV alone cannot take care of all the infantry. So I did get kind of lucky and win. My Stuart luckily was not dead, and luckily my opponent also didn't have any Panzerschreck infantry left around his Panzer IV, so my Stuart was able to come in behind and destroy the Panzer IV, essentially. It had no engine and no main gun. It was essentially useless. So yeah, he actually didn't have very much in terms of units left after that push. So I was doing quite well at the end. I just didn't have a chance to really get AT because of how badly I did earlier in the game, only having a single fuel point, a low fuel point. Anyways, what else? I guess that's really all there is to talk about, but when I was recording this, I had more to talk about in my head, maybe. I don't know. But now I'm going to click continue. Yes. Haha. Then I can end the video because I really have nothing else to talk about. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.